And I just want to talk to you a little bit about some of the resources that are available through student services that you may find beneficial when working with your students. Um, Disability Services, Dr. Dale Lee is our coordinator of disability services. If he receives information from a student about their disability, their paperwork, he will send you an email with those accommodations. So one, make sure you're checking your MECC email. If a student reports to you that they have a disability but you haven't received anything from Dr. Lee, please encourage the student to reach out to him because they have to make that contact with him, provide paperwork, forms to fill out. So if you have any questions when it comes to disability services, contact Dale Lee. Great Expectations is a program where we assist students who have been in foster care, kinship care, ward of the court. And I will tell you that we had Enrollment Services run a query of students who reported that, and the numbers have about tripled in the last couple of years. So I think, we're starting to see a lot of those families where grandparents are raising, their grandchildren, have custody of them. They're now, I think, starting to exit high school and come on into college. But that program just provides additional support. There's emergency funding that's available. There's a laptop loaner program. We can assist with services, trying to help them with housing and things like that. So, we try to catch those students, but sometimes they don't report that on their FAFSA, so we don't always know. A Single Stop is a program where students can complete a benefits screener. It's through the state, and we can see if they're eligible for additional resources, maybe through local social services such as TANF, SNAP 50/50, housing assistance, child care credit, things like that. So anytime a student, if they come in for the food pantry and sign in, we'll get that information when they sign in and send them the information for Single Stop so that they can complete that, as well as if they need emergency funds, we will also send that to them as well. Student activities, we are trying to get that ramped up a little more now that COVID is hopefully out of the way. But just providing different services for them, different activities on campus. We're hoping to get some activities off campus this semester. We have the Fox Food Pantry. If you know of a student that's struggling with food, and it may be just on campus, maybe they're here all day. We have a section where students can come in, grab things to throw in the microwave. We have a microwave in there. We have a freezer in there, so we keep a lot of just portable things that they can throw in there, take it and go. But if they need to take food for their home, they can fill up and take. We have hygiene items, detergent, trash bags, just kind of the necessities. So if you see a student struggling or just, maybe you're suspicious, you can always make an announcement about it instead of, singling them out. But we have a huge number of students who utilize that. So, and we just kind of let them shop. We have a little iPad set up. They can sign in, and we just like to keep track for numbers. And then they can get their bag and get what they need and walk out. So we've also been stocking CWIA as well, our center in Appalachia, with food and things like that for those students, because that's been a need here recently. We also have unexpected financial emergency funds. So if you hear of a student who has, maybe they're saying, I don't know how I'm going to pay my electric bill, or I don't know how I'm going to do this or that, please refer them to me in Student Services. We can assist them and see what we can do to help them. If a student, if you hear that a student doesn't have a book for your class, please refer them. That's something we can also look at helping them with. We look at their financial need with financial aid. We look to see if there's any scholarships that they may be eligible for, but then we also have the emergency funds. So, if you just suspect a need, just reach out and we'll be glad to see what we can do to assist. I know that Lena Grace will talk a little bit more about EAB Navigate, but through Navigate you have the opportunity to raise flags or alerts on students so that they can be followed up on. And I will send out a email packet. I usually will send it to Angie Reynolds in the next day or two, and then she will send it out to everyone, just kind of a step-by-step on how to use it. And once you raise those alerts, then we can follow up on that student to see what's going on. We can refer them to tutoring. We can refer them to different services to see what we can do to kind of help them and get them back on track. We also have the Learning Center, and that is our federally funded TRIO program. So all students are eligible for free tutoring, and that is down in Godwin Hall. In the Learning Center, it can be in person. They do Zoom. They have some evening and weekend appointments as well. So, and I know Christy will talk about tutor.com as another service as well. But students, they have a big computer lab, lots of computers. They can go in and print. So there's a lot of services there that they can utilize. And then last on the stop is the Center for Student Outreach and Success. We call it our SOS Center. And we have a laptop loaner program there. We have 76 laptops that we can loan out, and they just started loaning those on Tuesday, and yesterday our offices were closed, and as of this afternoon we have 22 left. So IT's working on ordering us some more, but that has been a huge need. And so if a student is telling you they don't have computer access, please send them our way, and we can get them a laptop so that they can use, and they return it at the end of the semester, and can each semester check that out. And the SOS Center, there's a couple of college success coaches in there, and they just work with students kind of one-on-one individually, determine if there's issues going on. They can refer them different resources both on and off campus. So we try to create a safety net so that students aren't falling through the crack and we miss them. We always want to try to catch them. And then lastly, if you have a student that you're just concerned about, you don't really know anything specific, there's just something's off, something's not right, something's different, please let me know. And it may not be anything that I know or can do, but sometimes if I get a piece of the puzzle from this person and a piece from this person, the information you have might be the missing piece that I need to put the whole puzzle together. So, I always say if something seems off with a student, it's not going to hurt to report that and see if there's something else that we may be able to do. Couple of things. Other than our general information or email information, Student Services has an email. It's just studentservices@mecc.edu. So, if you can't remember me or Dale or anybody, you can always send something that comes to all of us. We have a general advising email that is advising@mecc. The SOS Center has one, and that's collegesuccess@mecc.edu. The Learning Center, TRIO SSS@mecc.edu, and then Great Expectations has the grex@mecc.edu. But if there's something going on and the student's having an issue that we've not covered here, just send them our way or call us, and we'll figure out what we need to do to get them back on track. Does anybody have any questions? Okay. I don't know who's up next. Oh, is it you?
Hi, I'm Lena Grace in the Enrollment Services Office. I want to pull up some things here and show you. You have this in your packet, and this right here, these are the deadlines for the different classes. The first one is the regular session that starts on 8/21 and goes through 12/8. And if you see in red, that is the last day that a student can add or drop, receive a refund, but that's also the last day in green that you can submit a never attend. So I need you all to make sure that you're checking your rosters, and if you have a student that has never attended, make sure that you report that. And I'm going to show you a little bit and navigate how you'll do that. So you do need to do that, and if you miss the deadline, you have to send an email to Dr. Brownsberger and ask for permission to drop the student at that point. In the blue, that is the 60% mark, and that is when that's up to the administrative withdrawal part, when a student can withdraw from the class. So the first line is the regular session. The second one is 8-week 1. Those are the classes that start 8/21 and go through 10/13, and the 8-week 2 starts 10/16 and goes through 12/8. Now, if you look on down through here, you can see I've got dynamic. Now, a lot of classes here may be classes that you all are teaching, okay? These are based on when the class starts, and you can see this, the TBD, all that is just, it's not the same as what it is for those regular sessions. So you can see like this accounting 111 starts 8/21, ends 12/14. It still has the 9/7, 9/7, 9/7, and the last date for the withdrawal is 10/29. But if you go on down the thing, just look for your class if you're teaching a dynamic class, and you'll see what the dates are. So I will be sending out reminders of when you need to do that, so you will need to make sure that you take care of that. Anybody have any questions on that? Okay. All right. Now this is the administrative withdrawal form, and you can see here under regular session, the form can be submitted between September the 7th and October the 30th for regular session. The 8-week 1 is between August 29th and September 21, and 8-week 2 is between October 24th and November 16th. And you see with the dynamic and the OEE, it's the 15%, but it's on the chart that I gave you, okay? If your class isn't there, you can email me, and my email is just lgrace@mecc.edu, and if you're dual enrollment, that class may not be on the schedule yet, but we'll see, okay? And this is a fillable form, and Vicki Piercy is our assistant registrar, and after she will send this out, like when the drop add period ends, with all of these dates on there. It's a fillable form, and you can fill this out, you can type in your name, send it back through your college email address, and then we will take care of all of that. And then you can see down here, it says a copy will be mailed to the student by the Enrollment Services Registrar. Any questions on that? Okay. I don't know a whole lot about Navigate because I go in from a staff view, so you do have this information in there on how to do that, but it gives you all of these different ways to do that. So when I send you an email, if you have a student who's a never attend, and some of you have probably already done this before, but you go in and you just put them as a never attend, an email comes to me, I run the spreadsheet, I take the students out, and then I will email you back and let you know that the student has been dropped. But make sure that you meet those deadlines. Okay. Anybody have any questions? I think everybody's tired, ready to go home. All right. That's really all I have to offer, all I have to say, but if you have any questions or anything, again, you can email me at lgrace@mecc.edu. But you'll get lots of emails from me reminding you to make sure you're doing this. And I will add one thing. For VA students, and this won't affect dual enrollment, but for VA students, I have to monitor their attendance, and Charlotte worked with me on a student this time. If a student is not participating and has stopped going to class or anything, the administrative withdrawal it's not mandatory, but you can do the administrative withdrawal. But if you have a student that has not attended in 3 to 4 weeks or whatever, basically they're getting money from the VA, and then they're going to end up owing a big overpayment back to the VA. So I will probably ask you, if they're not participating and they don't want to catch up, will you please do the administrative withdrawal? And then I'll ask you for the last date that they attended, and I will put that in for the VA. But that is a new process that I have to do. So That's any questions on anything? Okay. Mm-hmm. Layla gets that, and some of her staff members get that, and they will review those, and they'll go through all of that, and they'll get back with you. They'll try to reach out to the student, and they'll get. Yes, from what I understand, they do get a copy of that. And when I respond back to the never attend, I always check the box so that you can see what I've written in there to the student, because I always put a comment that per your notification, this student has been dropped as a never attend. I don't do anything with anything other than the never attends, but Leila and the one who was here first and her staff, they do go through all of that and take care of all that. Any more questions? Well, see, I talked fast, so you guys can just enjoy your evening. Thank you.
If you'll get some pen and paper out, we're going to do security awareness training real quick. I'm just kidding. I see you up there. All right, so I'm Richie Dill. I'm the CIO here at Mountain Empire Community College and the Director of IT. Here's my contact information if you need to get a hold of me, rdill@mecc.edu, and there's my phone number if you need to get a hold of me. And so I'm just going to tell you a little bit about some of the things you will in particular want to know about MFA, LastPass, a few of those things, where to find technology assistance, okay? So has everyone set up MFA, multi-factor authentication? Anybody having trouble with that? If you are having trouble with it, you can see me afterwards and I'll try and help you. But it is required. You do have two MFAs here. You have one on your MECC email, and you do have one on your My MECC sign-in. So you will have to set that up for both of those accounts, okay? Your students have to do the same thing. So if they're having trouble with MFA, getting signed in, I'll show you a link where they can go and learn about those things, but also how they can get technology help from me and my staff. So the reason we use MFA, passwords are the least secure thing that we have, all right? Because your password, I guarantee someone's password in here is either their dog or their kid or their cat. Am I right about that? You may want to share it with me. All right, so our passwords are the least secure thing we have. So we want one more factor of authentication in there, and that is the app on your phone. So we have found out that Microsoft Authenticator is the most reliable thing that you can use. I don't really like the Rapid Identity Ping Me app. I'm not a fan of it. But you and your students, go ahead and download the Microsoft Authenticator app. Get that set up. If you have trouble, let me and my staff know, and I'll show you a little later how you can submit a ticket to the help desk if you do need assistance with that. You do have access to LastPass. Is anybody familiar with LastPass, or does anyone use a password manager? If you don't use one, I highly recommend that you do, okay? Because, like I said, passwords are the most insecure thing that we have because we generate them. We're humans, we're not perfect. So every time you go to change your password, you have, your dog's name, Bowser 1. The next time you change, it's Bowser 2, or exclamation point, right? That's what we all do. So a password manager can go ahead and generate passwords for you. It can store them securely in the cloud, and it can also autofill those passwords for you. So take advantage of this. It's free to you as an employee here at Mountain Empire Community College. If you need more information about LastPass, you can put a help desk ticket in by emailing helpdesk@mecc.edu, and we'd be glad to help you with that. As part of that, you do get up to 5 family members can join, so your family members can join and get that LastPass premium subscription. I've used it for about 7 years now. I couldn't tell you what a single one of my passwords are. I have no idea. All right, so it's a really great tool. Take advantage of it while you can. I want everyone to be familiar with this technology assistance page. I really, really recommend that you tell your students about this in a Canvas announcement or in class, that this is where they can go to get help quickly. Okay, so there is a link on the main page if you go to mecc.edu and you look on the very top right, you'll see technology assistance. That will take your students out for a frequently asked question page where they can have there's a drop down for all the things that they may be looking for technology, and that will also help you too. They can also click a form there, fill out a form for what their issue is, and that will automatically submit a help desk ticket to me and my team, and we'll reach out to them and get them help. Just let them know that if they put something in at midnight, we probably won't get to it until the next day. All right, so there are some expectations there, right? So, but yes, I really, really wish you guys would get this information out to your students. This is the fastest way for us to help them. Okay? Speaking of security awareness training, everyone in this room is required to complete security awareness training. Okay? We're going to kick that off October 1st. October is Cybersecurity Awareness Month, so that's the month we decided to kick it off this year. You are required to complete it, and you do have until November 30th to do so. When you get closer to that time of having to have this complete, it will start sending emails to your supervisor, the dean of your department that you're teaching in, that you have not completed it. If you don't complete it, I will cut your access off. All right? You will not be able to get into anything if you don't complete this. So I highly recommend that when it comes out, you go ahead and sit down and complete this. It is very important. I also want to stress how important it is to keep your work life and your personal life separate. Try not to use your MECC email to buy things on eBay or Amazon, okay? Because when you do those things, you start getting a lot of email that comes in that might look a little fishy, or maybe it comes from me. How many of you have been fished by MECC and gotten caught? Yeah, you're welcome. That's me and my team. We do that just to try and keep you guys honest, and we give you a little gift. If you fail, you get more security awareness training. So just make sure that the links that you're getting in your email, make sure you vet those, you look those over really well, hover your mouse over those links, because oftentimes when you hover your mouse over there, you see it's actually going somewhere else. So be vigilant, keep your work life and your personal life separate, use your work email for work only, all right? You do have MECC email. We recommend that you use it. You can download Outlook on your phone, put it on your phone. If you need help, we'll help you. But if you're going to access that, if you go to the main website, mecc.edu, hover your mouse over faculty and staff, and all the way at the bottom, you'll see webmail. And there you'll just sign in using your MECC. I know you've got two accounts, and I know that's confusing. You have an MECC account and you have a VCCS account. Your MECC email address will be accessed from this webmail site. Okay, any questions on that? All right. Your VCCS email is a Google Gmail. So Microsoft on the MECC side and Google on the VCCS side. So you'll access that by signing into My MECC with your VCCS, your student ID and credentials, and you'll see all those tiles, those application tiles. If you click Gmail, there's your Gmail account, and that's your student account and your teaching account on the VCCS side. Okay? Any questions on the Gmail side of things? So one of the things that you should take advantage of when you do sign into My MECC, not only do you have access to Gmail, but you do have access to Google Drive, and it is unlimited storage, so take advantage of it. If you have files out there that you want to share with your students, it's a great place to put them. It's secure, it's safe, and it's unlimited storage. And it is tied to your VCCS account. One thing I do want to add, it can get a little hard to juggle two email accounts. So you can forward your VCCS Gmail account to your MECC account if you want to do that. It's easy to do. If you need help with it, just put in a ticket and we'll walk you through how to do it. It just puts everything in one inbox for you, so it's a little easier to manage, so you're not trying to juggle two emails all the time. Because if you do get a message from a student in Canvas, it's probably going to go to this Gmail. So you'll want to keep up with both of them. Okay, so you can forward your VCCS to the MECC email, but you cannot forward your MECC email anywhere. We have that blocked. You're not allowed to forward it to your Wise County email address or your Hotmail or anything like that. You can't forward that email, but you can forward this one over to your MECC email address. Speaking of Microsoft, you do get a Microsoft A5 license from the VCCS, and I don't know how many of you actually knew that, But if you'll go to office.vccs.edu and sign in there using your VCCS credential, that's the one that ends in @email.vccs.edu, you have access to the whole Microsoft suite of products. So Word, PowerPoint, Excel, OneNote, and your students have access to that too, and it's free. It's absolutely free to you and your students. The license that I give you here, that I manage, it doesn't have this. All it does is give you an email inbox. But you do have access to it out here by going to office.vccs.edu, and I highly recommend you tell your students about that too, because oftentimes they don't know. So let your students know this is a place they can go download those products. So here are some other products that you have access to. Just dive in. Go to that website, dive in and look at some of these products and see how you can use them in your classroom. Just play around with them. If you have some really good ideas and you say, hey, I kind of have an idea how I want to use this, but I don't know, reach out to me and my team and we'll sit down with you and we'll try and come up with a technology solution for you. Let me know your academic goals and we'll sit down and see how this technology can help you. Okay? You do have access to Zoom. So same thing, you sign into that My MECC, My VCCS account, you'll see the Zoom tile, log in there and you have access to Zoom Premium. You can use that to call family and friends if you want, or set up Zoom meetings for you and your students. So you do have access to that. And you should take advantage of it because it's great to see you all here. I really do appreciate seeing your faces, and your students would too. So if you have an opportunity to Zoom with your students, I highly recommend you do. Okay, are there any questions for me? Okay, so this is our number to the help desk, 523-9000. You can leave a voicemail there if no one answers. It kind of rows through everyone in our department. But the easiest way to get a hold of us is simply just email helpdesk@mecc.edu. And please be as detailed as you can about the issue you're having. That lets us go ahead and prepare a solution for you so that when we do contact you, we're ready to go ahead and help you right away and get the help that you need. Okay? So thank you all. Have a good semester. If you need anything from me, just let me know. Okay? Thank you.
Thank you. Hello, everybody. Okay, my name is Christy Lee, and I am the instructional technologist here, and I'm going to talk to you a little bit about, why did it go to the last slide? How you can use Canvas to meet RSI requirements, but I'm also going to show you a little bit of a technology that you can use in your classes for free if you so choose. If you would like to participate, if I can get back to the beginning, there's a website or a QR code that you can log in and join the session. And any questions that you have during my presentation, you can just put them in there. And the link is also pasted on a few of the slides throughout the presentation. So it's called mentimeter.com and it's free. So if you want to check it out, go ahead. But to join it, you either use the QR code or you go to menti.com and put in that code. Not required, but if you want to participate, please do. All right, so this time last year, I talked about RSI and what it is, and a lot of those slides are still in here, and you have those in your packet. And I will send a digital copy of this out probably tomorrow. But one of the things that I want to just reiterate is RSI means regular and substantive interaction. And that is what the Department of Ed uses to judge whether or not that course is considered a true distance ed course, which is eligible for federal financial aid money, and what they deem to be a correspondence course, which is not eligible for federal financial aid money. And the vast majority of our students here are Pell eligible. And so distance ed courses must have the RSI requirement in order for those courses to be eligible for those students to receive those Pell funds. So, and I'm not going to go through these in detail. Again, they're in your packet, but these are some examples of institutions where they had a financial aid audit, and the auditor said, okay, I want to see this class, this class, this class, and they looked and they did not see regular or substantive interaction in the courses, which meant that they were not eligible for financial aid, and they had used financial aid for those courses. So these institutions were fined millions of dollars. And WGU is a very recognizable one, more so than St. Mary's. But this one also is not, this one is not a college itself. This is an accreditation body, similar to SACS. And so they had to go back and look at the institutions that they had done site visits on and reaccreditations on, and look at the RSI again. So anyway, so it's hugely important that RSI is in your course. And here is Oscar SUNY is a great website with lots and lots of resources, examples, links, lots of things, and the link is in your packet as well. And this is another one. This is from the Center for Academic Innovation. And the one thing I want to show you on this is the breakdown of interactions. They're very specific. They have to be instructor initiated. So if a student contacts you and asks a question, that's great. It's wonderful. But you answering that question doesn't fall under the umbrella of RSI. Yes, you should answer the question, of course, but that doesn't count for RSI because the student initiated it. So you have to initiate the interaction. Let me be clear though, if you are meeting face-to-face with students, if you have a traditional face-to-face class, you're already doing this. This is not what we're talking about. We're talking about online classes, distance ed classes. Another aspect of RSI is that it is frequent and timely. It has to be regular and scheduled, and it has to happen frequently on a regular basis throughout the semester. So I'll show you some examples later and how you can use Canvas to do that. And then the last requirement is it has to be substantive, non-trivial. It has to include some type of content in some way. So it can't just be, hey, kudos, good job. Should you do that? Yeah, absolutely. If you've got a student that's doing a good job, send them kudos, but that doesn't fall under the umbrella of RSI. It has to include some type of instruction in some way. And there's, again, I'll show you some ways you can use Canvas to do that. This document, you have a link in your packet as well. This document is not our document. I took this straight from Blue Mountain Community College's website. So don't think these are our requirements, but they are some really, really good ideas. And I'm not going to read them all, but if you go through this document, it lists some examples and some very specific things that you might be able to add to your own course that might work for your content and your schedule and things like that. So just some ideas and some resources. So this graphic came from the Oscar SUNY website. And what you're looking at is the line in the middle. I've added some things to it, but the line in the middle is kind of like, okay, here's the difference between correspondence education and distance education. So more toward the left is correspondence, the yellow and the red. That's correspondence. So things like just video lectures with nothing else. Can that be good to add to a course? Absolutely. I'm not saying, and RSI doesn't say that some of these things are not good to do. They absolutely are. but they don't qualify for RSI, okay? So don't think you can't do these things. You absolutely can. You just have to include RSI somewhere else along the way. And sometimes it's a simple checkbox that changes something that's in the yellow or red to make it light green or dark green. You know, it can be very simple inside Canvas. So don't let this overwhelm you, and please don't think, oh my heavens, I've got a lot of work to do. Please don't think that. I'm here to help you in a lot of things that you already do, probably already qualify for RSI, or with very small tweaking can qualify for RSI. So discussions without you interacting, great to do. Collaboration, the student-to-student communication, great. Without you interacting, it doesn't qualify as RSI. So you interacting as, good job, great point, that's not RSI. But you going in there and saying, that's a good thought, but have you thought about this and added some content? Played devil's advocate and had them look at a different concept. That does qualify for RSI. Grading with a rubric. Excellent thing to do, makes grading easy and consistent, but without additional feedback that's specific to that student and content, doesn't qualify as RSI. Even though the rubric itself, depending on how it's created, can give the student some feedback, it's not considered instructor-initiated and substantive. So how can Canvas do this? So to get to Canvas, if you're new, go to the Mountain Empire homepage, click on My MECC, and then when you log in, you will click on the Canvas tile. This will open you up to the Canvas dashboard. This is your homepage, and every one of you should see both of these tiles on there if you've not hidden them. The student resources, every student gets access to that, and there's loads of resources there for students and maybe for you as well. But the faculty resources Canvas site is just available to faculty, and there are tons of resources available in that faculty resource site. So if you are new to Canvas, or if you're trying something new in Canvas, and maybe it's midnight, as Richie was saying, or 2 o'clock in the morning, you may find what you need there. If you look and you don't find something that you need and it's not there, please reach out to me. I'll find it and I'll add it. Because if you need it, somebody else does too. So one example of RSI is with the announcements feature inside Canvas. You can do, and I know this slide says video announcement, but it can be text-based announcements as well. You can put a video announcement, you can put a text-based announcement, and that you create. It has to have some type of content. So it can't just be, hey, this week we're going to do this chapter and read this and this assignment's due. Those pacing kinds of announcements are wonderful, but they don't qualify for RSI. So add some type of content, frequently asked questions, a lot of, maybe something that a lot of students miss or are confused about, just a little blurb of something that's content related. Then you check the box to allow students to comment. Here is, there's 2 different ways you can add video content to an announcement if you don't know how to do that. This one lets you record and upload media, or record and upload media directly from the rich text box editor. Easy and great, but just please note that as it stands currently, that particular icon and recording feature does not support closed captioning. So if you have a student that needs that, that is not ADA compliant. However, this little blue octopus looking icon, that is from your Canvas Studio. Studio videos do support closed captioning, and if you have questions about Studio, please let me know, I'll help you. And here's what it looks like when you start to record. And then when you're done, hit Save Media. And then here is the box underneath your announcement text box editor area. Click that box that says Allow Users to Comment. If you think about regular and substantive interaction from a traditional face-to-face class standpoint, you're in a classroom, the students are in the classroom, you initiate information about whatever you're trying to teach them. At any given time, they can ask you a question, and you can respond to them. RSI literally is nothing more than replicating that in an online environment. That's all it is. So by allowing students to comment on your announcements that have anything to do with content, you are giving them that option to ask you a question. And then you can respond to that, and it becomes just like a discussion board chat type of thing. So that's one way. If you don't see that option in your course, and this is course specific, so you would have to do this in every one of your courses that you're teaching for online purposes, go to the course, click on your settings, and then scroll all the way down and click More Options. At the very bottom of More Options, there's an option that says Disable Comments on Announcements. For some ungodly reason, that is checked by default. And I can't change that on the account level, unfortunately. So just uncheck that box and click Update Course Details, and then you should be able to check the box to allow users to comment. And some of you may already have those type of announcements in your courses with content that you've got set to go out regularly, maybe weekly. As you set up your course for this semester, go in and just check that box, and that's one form of RSI. Sure. This one? Not if you do it here with this icon, but if you do it inside Studio and then just link it in here, yes. Oh, in the speed grader area? Yeah, no. I don't think so, but don't quote me on that. I will look and yeah, I'll check on that. Because I've done that too, but I've never had the need to pause it, so I'm not sure. Say again? They become like a discussion board, so yes, everybody in the class can see them, at least for the announcements. There's other areas that you can kind of chat with just the individual student, and I'll get to that in just a second. But from the announcements area, yes, everybody can see. So this is talking about Studio. So on your left global navigation menu, you have that blue octopus looking icon, and that's Studio. Studio is nothing more than a video library repository. You can create videos in there, you can upload videos you've already created. You can do screen captures there. You can do just a webcam capture there. You can add videos from YouTube or Vimeo that you use frequently. You can put them in there. There's lots of reasons why Studio is a great thing to. You can organize them by collection. So if you think of library terminology, collections, library collections, you can organize them that way, maybe by class or by semester or whatever works for you. But here's a good way to think about, as you space out your classes, what's something every week that I'm always answering questions about. Maybe I do just a short minute or two video about that thing inside Studio, and then I can link it in my class every semester. and I don't have to redo it unless something with that content changes. So once you get a video inside Studio, and again, if you want to investigate that, let me know and I'm glad to help you. Then go anywhere you have a rich text box editor. So that can be an announcement, that can be a Canvas page, that can be the instructions on an assignment, it can be anywhere that you see these menu items, hit the little blue octopus, and a box will pop up that looks like this with your Studio library there. You scroll, you find the video that you want, select it, and click Embed. And then it will show up inside that rich text box editor. That also has a subscribe to comments button. So if you click that button and allow comments there, then those comments can be emailed to you. So you don't have to go back into every class and look to see, did somebody comment on this? But again, for RSI, has to involve content, and it must allow the student to interact back with the instructor. So again, if you've got videos already that have to do with content, get them into Studio, link them inside your Canvas course, and subscribe to comments, and that meets RSI. So inside SpeedGrader, like you were talking, Marla, when you go into SpeedGrader, and you can get to SpeedGrader a couple of different ways. Anywhere you see SpeedGrader, you can get to it directly from the Grade Center or from an assignment itself. And I'll show you those options in a minute. But when you grade something, this one has a rubric, so you can check the box of the rubric if there's a rubric there. But at the bottom, there's a comment feature. You can put feedback there that is content related, and that becomes RSI, because as SpeedGrader is created, as it functions, that little comment area, when the student goes in on their side, they can comment back to you. So you can have a chat conversation with just that individual student about that particular assignment right there in SpeedGrader, okay? Now I want to show you something else. Has anybody ever noticed this little icon right over here on the right? Right on top of the little box, it looks like a little square thought bubble. That may change your life. That is a SpeedGrader comment library. So if there is comments that you put out for students in feedback repetitively, I used to have a Word document for different classes, and I would have this assignment and then various comments on a Word document, and a lot of times I would copy and paste and revise it just a little bit, and you don't have to do that anymore. If you have those comments, you can put them into a comment library, and you can edit them, you can delete them if they're no longer applicable, but that is tied to your login. So you can use the same comment in multiple classes if they apply. So you could put content-related feedback for like frequently missed something on that one particular assignment, put it in your comment library, literally, even if it's 2 paragraphs long, literally it's 2 clicks, and you click submit, and that whole comment is there. And again, if it's content related and the student can comment back to you, which they can from SpeedGrader, that is RSI. Now, you may be thinking, I really don't want to go into every course and every assignment and every this to see if anybody's commented. You don't have to. You can get emails to your MECC email or to your student email when a student comments on something. And so this is what one of those looks like. If a student comments on an assignment submission inside the SpeedGrader area, this is what one of those emails will look like. It will have the student's name. This student was test student from notifications@instructure.com. So that will come to you from Canvas, and it will have whatever the student's comment is. And you can reply directly there from your email, and it goes back into the area that they commented from. So you don't even have to go back into the class Canvas site if you don't want to. If it's something you can just easily answer right there, you know what they mean, you know what they, you can just reply right there and you're done. Now, how to make sure that you see that is setting your comment notification settings inside Canvas. So when you log into Canvas, the very top is your account. Click that account button and then click notifications. And then you have lots of things, a really long page that you can scroll down. I want to highlight just a few things. You can add your MECC email there and make that the email that Canvas will email to. You can also set up notifications to no notification for various things. I can get notified immediately for something, I can get a daily summary, or I can get a weekly summary of various things. So whatever works best for you. Do I want to see it immediately, or do I want to see it as a summary once a week? So whatever works best for you. And if you're like me, I set some things and I was like, that's what'll work for me. And then I was like, no, I don't like that. Let's go back in, let's change that. But a couple of things I want to highlight. On this list of course activities, the line item that says announcements created by you. When I first looked at that, I was like, why would I want announcements that I create emailed to me? Well, because in Canvas world, the comments that students put on the announcements are tied to this particular line item in your notifications. So if you want students to, if you want the comments on announcements to email to you and you can respond from your email, you need to turn that notification setting on. The other one is submission comment. This one emails you when a student comments initially when they submit an assignment, and also if you put feedback and then they reply, that emails to you as well. And again, you can just reply directly from, if it's an immediate notification and just has that one student on it, you can reply straight from your email. Being active in a discussion board. There is a subscribe button inside Canvas, inside each discussion forum. Use it if that works for you. Unfortunately, right now, Canvas doesn't let you subscribe to just things that you've commented on or your threads. When you subscribe to that, everybody that puts something in that will email to you. So you may want to, if you put some kind of like Q&A forum out there or that kind of thing, maybe you subscribe to that one. So if students ask questions, you can respond pretty quickly. But just think about subscribing to an assignment discussion. But that's one way to know when people comment. So these are great things that do not satisfy RSI, and we've talked about those already. So one last requirement on RSI is evaluating the participation of students and re-engaging those students who have kind of fallen off the face of the earth. And so there's lots of ways that you can do that. One is trying to prevent non-participation. Being active yourself engages the students more. If they feel like the faculty is not engaged, then some of them are going to just disengage. So reach out to students, give feedback, respond to them. And this one's hard for me, especially if it's a big class. If their Canvas name, like me, if my Canvas name might say Christina, but I want to go by Christy. So kind of keeping that in mind is the students like that when you remember that kind of stuff. But when a student does stop participating, how can I reach out to them? Well, navigate is one way, like Lena was talking about. When you send out a navigate alert for absences or grades on an assignment or test or whatever, then that goes to various people it will go to the student, but it will also go to various people who can reach out to help the student, offer tutoring, things like that. You also have message students who option inside Canvas. And you can get to that two different ways. One is inside the speed grader itself. So not speed grader, but the grade center. On the top of the grade center, you've got your header for each assignment. Beside of that, you've got 3 little dots. Anytime there's 3 little dots inside Canvas, there's something you can do. So if you click that there, there's a message students who, and then you have some various options if they've not submitted yet, if they have not been graded, if they've scored more than, you can send kudos. If they've scored less than, offer some help. If you've reassigned, if they've submitted something you couldn't open and you put a comment and feedback and click to reassign. So you can send an email to them. You can also show all students that fit whatever criteria that you put in there. When you do that, you might want to, let's say, Johnny's not submitted the assignment that was due yesterday, but Johnny emailed you and told you that they had this issue, and you've already talked to Johnny, so you don't want to send this email to Johnny. So if you show all recipients, you can take Johnny off that list. So that's one option. You can also go into New Analytics. So you can get to New Analytics on your left navigation menu inside the course, or on the home page of the course over on the right, you've got some menu options. So New Analytics will give you lots and lots of information about your students' participation in an online course. But you have there a little envelope icon, and that is your message students who inside the New Analytics area. And you can set various criteria here. And again, it will tell you how many students fit that criteria. You can click that and take off students you don't want to get, and then click send. So that's another message students who area. So I want to give you a few helps for the speed grader and the grade center. So for speed grader, you've got some, when you're grading a writing assignment or something they've uploaded, inside speed grader, you've got some options to look at things in a different way, have your students come up in a different way by clicking the little cogwheel up on the top left and clicking options, and you can sort the list by different things. So you can sort it by name, you can sort it by the date they submitted, things like that, and click Save Settings, and it will stay that way until you change it again. Then inside Grades area, you've got filters. And up on the left, right up above your list of students, you've got that Apply Filter area. You can create your own filter preset if there's something specific that you want, or you can go to modules, assignment groups, status, whether they've submitted or not, a start and an end date, but I want to specify this one right here. Submissions has ungraded submissions. This is life-changing for me when I first noticed this and found this. What this does, especially if you've got a lot of assignments and you've got a few different things you know you need to grade, when you put this filter on, the only columns that you will see inside the speed grader are columns which have student submissions that you have not yet graded. And you can go through that first column and grade everything there, and then when you go back to Grade Center, that column's no longer showing, and the only columns that are remaining that you see are ones that you still have left stuff to grade. So again, just something to kind of help you make your life better. Another little help from the Grade Center is over on the right, the settings cogwheel. You've got some options to change how grades are put in. So you have the option to click to automatically apply a grade for a missing submission, and you can put whatever grade you want there. But if you put a 0 in there, check that box and put a 0 in there, then if something was due at midnight last night, then at 12:01, Canvas automatically puts a 0 in for you. You don't have to manually go in and do that. Now, that doesn't prevent the student from turning in something late if you allow that in your class. You certainly still have that option to let them turn it in late, but it does give them a notice that, hey, I have a 0 now that I didn't do that, and it also lets them know what impact that has on their grade. So they have a more accurate grade total throughout the semester if the zeros are already there. What you don't want is to not do anything and then put the zeros in at the end of the semester, and all semester long, what they have done, they did great on, so they think they've got an A. And then the last week of the semester, you put 15 zeros in, and now they're suddenly failing, and they don't know why. So again, you don't have to use it, but just know that it's there available for you. You also, if your policy is to deduct so much for, late submissions, you can do that as well. Inside your assignments area, if you look in your grade center and you see a whole bunch of columns over on the right that never have anything in them, and you're like, where did those come from? How do I get rid of those? Click on assignments, and you may have these empty groups like you see right here. You've got this heading, this group of assignments here, there's nothing in it, and you're not going to put anything in it. Click on the 3 dots, the snowman, you've always got something to do there. If there are 3 dots, there's something you can do, and click delete and delete that group. If you delete that group, that takes that column out of the grade center, and it cleans up your grade center a little bit. The students also see that, just FYI. So sometimes they're like, why are there so many assignments at the very bottom of my grades, and there's never any score there? That's what it is right there. So if you delete that, it takes it off for the students as well. This is what we currently use to do peer review of your courses. Just so you have it, there is, if you want to look at it and go through it and kind of do a self-review of your course to make sure that if you're ever reviewed, when you're reviewed, if your course is already meeting what the guidelines are, this is the document that you could use. And so the link to that is at the bottom and in your packet as well. Here are the list of current topics inside the Faculty Resources Canvas site. There is a lot. And again, if there's something there that you need and it's not there, let me know and I'll put it there. There are some videos, websites, guides, documents, all kinds of stuff in there. And then the Canvas communities are a good resource as well for help. It's free. You log in with your student VCCS account and you have access to lots and lots of blogs and chats and videos and tutorials and instructions and all kinds of things. The VCCS E-Learning and Educational Technology Committee, ELET, has some webinars and short recordings also, and that's their website. And then one really good YouTube account that I've found is called How To Canvas. So that's a good one also to if you need help or short tutorials or whatever. And of course, this is my contact information, so feel free to call me, email me, pop in and see me, and I'm always happy to help. And again, I'll send this out, but I want to look and see if anybody, here we go. Nobody. Okay, well, thank you. Any questions? Can I help anybody? All right. Thank you all.
Okay, we are at the end of our in-service. I know it's a very long evening. I sincerely appreciate your patience and you're sticking with us. Before we go, I just want to make one suggestion. Save your agenda because you may get home and you're racking your brain trying to remember who was the person who was talking to us about the VCCS 29 so I can find out what faculty rank I should be. You can look on your agenda and find out that that was Val Lee. So it's good to have that as a reference if you need to go back and ask questions of any of the presenters of the evening. But without further ado, thank you again for coming. Thank you for everything that you're doing for Mountain Empire Community College, and have a safe trip home and a great semester.